Hey everybody, my name is eSportsMonies, ESM, Mac10, whatever you want to call me, and today we're going to be doing some streaming of some virtual reality shit. So this is called Project Lucky. It is the free game that you get when you purchase the Oculus. I know you guys don't see much right now. Okay, so I'm gonna. If I drag the window, it gets messy. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to pause my stream so I can use as much internet as possible. You guys can't see it, but I'm actually messing with some windows in the background. Because normally I have a monitor capture setup. This is a window capture setup so that we can get a full picture of what I'm seeing inside of the Oculus Rift here. This is the developer kit 2 that I acquired off of Craigslist the other week. Alright, so camera's all set up. Again, this is the free game that comes with the Oculus. Where is everything? I have no idea, like, where everything is oriented. Okay, things are loading. That looks... Oh! Why on earth is everything behind me? Oh, there we go. Cool! Sweet. Alright, so... Alright. Again, this is the Oculus DK2, so this is not the finished version. So... the device itself is a little bit different from the consumer Oculus, and the biggest difference, I think, is that the consumer Oculus has all these settings that make it really convenient to, God, I'm getting my ass kicked, to customize the focus of the Oculus as you're wearing it, and this you sort of have to like take off and play with and do like a trial by error. Definitely not this. This definitely like feels like a developer kit. It feels like an item that it's about what you expect. It's something that if you are a big computer person, or if you know a lot about technology and you're willing to play with gadgets, you're pretty tech savvy, you'll probably enjoy the DK2. This is not for everyone, just because of the fact that it is kind of annoying to set up. That being said, I think the CV1, or I guess it stands for Consumer Version 1. Or what? There's a thing up here? The Consumer Version 1 is much more suited to people that aren't super tech savvy. Now, one thing I want to do now, I've got up here, because it looks like you can see probably a lot of things. I want to look around just so you guys get an idea of like the full 360 degrees you can see in. Some transparent coins here. That's neat. It's pretty interesting. The thing that they don't really tell you about virtual reality is that I can lean forward and back and zoom in and out. Well, I guess you kind of could tell that. You can actually do that in games like Fallout and Skyrim and stuff, if you install Vortex or Vireo Perception. But one of the really interesting things about this device is that what you guys are seeing on screen doesn't really do the device justice, because these VR devices, they don't just sense where your head is and position themselves accordingly. They actually can tell. They do stereoscopic 3D. So it's almost like you're watching a 3D television in addition to having all these movements. So one thing that's really interesting about the app is that even though you guys see this screen that doesn't look like it has emulated 3D going on, it's just like a normal game. In the actual helmet itself, my graphics are slightly different. I have something that looks like a 3D, like TV or 3D movie experience, which can be. I find that to be a little bit annoying when you're playing with games like Morrowind and Skyrim and Fallout, and you're basically forcing them to be 3D applications. Some games work. Some old games work really well with that. I'm not good at this game. some old games work really, really well with turning on that emulated 3D. Morrowind, I think, actually works better with Skyrim, but that just might be due to the color scheme of the game. But yeah, these are sort of meaningless coins. They're like the rings in Sonic. This game is a little bit challenging for what it is. Again, this is free on the Oculus Store. Anyone with an Oculus can play it. I know that the Oculus was very, very closed and very, very anti-playing along nice with everyone up until recently. So you might be able to get this on the HTC Vive now. I'm not sure. But again, oh wow, you can actually hit me with those bombs all the way over here. I probably should have killed that dude. But one thing I do want to point out is that when I watch a movie that... Oh god, I guess this is a boss fight. Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm dead. So, one thing I do want to point out is that normally, like, if I don't choose to see 3D movies and I don't choose to do things in 3D, and it's not nearly as bad as a 3D movie, because like I find 3D movies like I saw Avatar. I guess that was like the first really big 3D movie in theaters, and it felt a little bit awkward. It almost hurt your eyes. And I find that with older games, when you like try to emulate that 3D on some of those games, until you really get those settings just right, it does feel awkward and it hurts your eyes at times. But with games like this one that are designed for virtual reality, even though I have the perception of full 3D, it doesn't feel like I'm watching a 3D movie. It doesn't have like that sort of awkwardness that kind of hurts your eyes, if you know what I'm talking about. Like if you go see a 3D movie in theaters or something, it doesn't have that element to it. It feels very natural. It's very, very cool. Alright, so I need to pick this up, and then I need to throw it back at them. I can't do this actually. This is actually not hard. I think I'm just gonna like swing these around until I'm dead. Might need to go to a level of things I can actually do. Return to book. Go back to the first level because it's a little bit of a better demo. The game is surprisingly challenging for what it is, being a free title that comes with the Oculus. No. Here we go. It is sort of like a child's game. It basically, to me, this is the Super Mario 64 of VR. And that being said, I am kind of interested in trying Super Mario 64 in VR. I feel like if someone really wanted to do that, you could absolutely make a game with this sort of experience, or you could make Super Mario 64 into a game with this sort of experience in virtual reality. Doesn't seem like a very difficult formula to achieve. Resolution will obviously be a little bit lower, but I mean, Super Mario 64 does not look awful when you really crank the resolution and the anti-aliasing and the entroscopic filtering up really high on modern emulators. The game, like, a lot of... I guess maybe it's probably just the bright color scheme that causes it to... and the fact that it's kind of naturally cartoonish makes it just a better, I don't know what this is for. Okay. Really cool physics. But maybe just the fact that it has like a cartoonish color scheme, sort of like Borderlands, makes the game age really well. So I think a game like Mario 64 would be a prime candidate for reviving for this sort of thing, but you'd have to sort of make an emulator for the N64 that would be good enough to work with all of this. I'm rambling and rambling and rambling, but this is very, very fun. I will say that if you do not have the focus correct, and that's something that you really have to play with, again, it's not an issue with the CV1 from my understanding, but it can be an issue occasionally with the DK2, and probably is a massive issue with the DK1. If you do not have the focus correct, to where everything is visually comfortable, you easily get motion sickness. I'm someone that's not really prone to motion sickness, and it absolutely destroys me. I was sick for like half the day today after I spent like 2 hours playing like various games in VR. But I've been like 10 minutes in right now, and I don't feel bad at all, but I also adjusted the settings on the physical headset a lot, like how close it is to my face. Another relatively large criticism that I have of the device is that, at least for me in the shape of my face, I find that the best setting for me focus-wise and visual-wise puts the lenses, those lenses, it puts them like really tight on my face to the point where I feel like a multi-hour session of gaming would be like it would hurt my face a lot. That being said, it's kind of a minor complaint because I feel like if I toyed with this a little bit more or did some sort of jerry-rig thing, like, I don't know, maybe put some cloth between my face and this, wouldn't be as big of an issue. It's not a major issue. The motion, okay, so I can feel the motion sickness a little bit more now, but things are starting to feel a little bit out of focus. I think I might have to adjust the head straps. So with the Oculus, I don't want to go too detailed in the Oculus settings. With the Oculus, you have that knob that you can see is sideways. You can turn that any which way you want, and you want that to be equal to this side, unless your face is unequal. And you have to sort of figure out for yourself how that feels. And then you have to adjust these back straps, and then the top strap is pretty straightforward to adjust. But you really do have to play with those a lot with the GK2. And again, like I was watching all these tutorials on the CV1, and it seems like the biggest advantage of the CV1, which I hadn't even looked into because I was just looking at hardware specifications when I was picking out a headset. I was like, well, I can get this for several $100s less than the CV1. Might as well get it. But I think the comfort factor is probably massively different on the consumer version. Visually, though, they're very, very similar. If you can actually get your settings to where they're supposed to be for your face and your eyes and your head, I don't think there's actually a relatively negligible difference between this and the CV1, I believe. Just, with the specs I was looking at, it didn't make sense for like double the price. Actually, it would be more than double the price. Well, slightly over double the price, I guess. Depending on how good your local Craigslist is and whether or not you're willing to go on eBay or something. Because these things are still very, very pricey. Hardware specifications, they do require kind of like super high-end niche gaming hardware, but only for stuff like this, only for the natural VR stuff. Okay, I got a present. If you play something like Doom, which isn't a supported title on Vorpex, I don't know if your perception does anything with it, but if you play Doom in virtual reality, and it's not supported, but it's DirectX, so it will still run. So I've actually played Doom on this thing before, at least the Doom demo, so I assume the real game works the same. And even though it's not as fluid when you turn your head around, but it uses your headset as a mouse. So when I turn my head in Doom, I turn my head. And when I turn my head this way in Doom, I turn my head when I look up. So I can do that, and with my two thumbsticks, it is a very, very cool experience. In fact, it's all I thought virtual reality was before I realized the 3D tech that was behind it. Yeah, I'm horrible at this game. As far as esports are concerned, we'll get your hopes up. There are a couple of cool titles, like Elite Dangerous seems like that might have some competitive aspect to it. I honestly don't know, but oh, that is neat. I can really mess with the perspective here. Oh god, that guy's moving up. I got it. Pretty neat. Again, I'm just turning my head, looking around the world. It is pretty magical. The way the headset artificially creates depth is really interesting. Most of the criticisms I had with the device sort of disappear when you get away from emulated 3D on older titles, and then go to a natively VR application like this. A lot of the awkwardness sort of disappears. See, like, this is a really interesting element. I have a bomb in my hand, I just look into the middle of the target and boom. Which is very, very satisfying. What I was supposed to do with that boss fight I was just at, but kinda slow, and I am very bad at talking while playing anyway, so I figured I should probably just come back to this first level. Teleport things back here. The mechanics of the game are very, very simple. Again, kind of a childish game. But it's good fun. There was some famous YouTuber years ago that said there are games out there that create compulsions, like certain RPGs like Morrowind and Oblivion and Skyrim and stuff, and there are certain games that satisfy compulsions, that are just like platformers and quick action games, things that are like easy and satisfying to play. So like Mario 64, the Mario series is a game that satisfies compulsions by giving you like fun, like clicky things to do. This is that like squared. It's kind of mindless. Oh wow, I died. But the technology is just like crazy. The technology is crazy to the point where, like, in a lot of the applications I use it in, if I focus on, like right now, if I focus on Lucky, the things behind him become blurred. Like in real life, if you look at something, I probably should hit that checkpoint. In real life, if you look at something that has something of very large distance behind it, whatever's behind it will become obscured in your vision or blurred in your vision. And that actually happens within this headset. The way that these headsets emulate 3D is nuts. Oh god, they're all chasing me. Oh, I got the diamond! So the game is... It's a game that, if someone puts the headset on you and a pair of headphones and gives you a controller, there's never any, how do I play this game? You just, like, if you've played any game with a controller before in your life, the controls will feel natural. In fact, if you've never played a video game before, you might be able to give this to someone that does not play, like, someone that's super casual in games and have them really enjoy it. I don't know what your deal is. Am I supposed to catch you? I kicked the fish. Will it hurt me? No, it's just a neat physics thing. I do not have the graphics card in the description of a lot of my things anymore. I have a GTX 1070. It is a reference mod. It's the MSI reference card. So a little bit different from what the description might say. But this is actually ridiculous. Like the way that they create, that this game creates, the illusion of 3D is absolutely maddening. Like it's what VR is advertised as. But anyway, thank you for watching. I will be maybe doing a little more VR content on and off. I don't know, I just don't like wearing the headset for super long periods of time. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace!